Welcome to a new vlog with thoughts about life here and now and perhaps then and there, as we know it's all connected. I often go out in the natural areas close to where I live. That's where I find strength and balance. That's where I heal body and soul. In nature, I am able to be present, and I notice how the environment can change from one moment to the next, from one morning to another, from dawn to dusk. This vlog was recorded on Good Friday, April 3rd, and Holy Saturday, April 4th, right in the middle of the Swedish spring, when the weather often changes quickly. A bit like life. It can surprise you even when you think it shouldn't. Both the weather and life itself. That's just how it is. April 3rd offered a calm and quiet morning, while April 4th woke us up with large, heavy snowflakes. On April 3rd, I walked without my dog so as not to disturb the wildlife, hoping to catch a glimpse of some animals without scaring them away. I reflected on the domesticated human and the boundary between us and the animals that live more freely in nature. I thought about how we humans like to separate ourselves from other animals and how questionable that idea really is. Homo sapiens, the wise human, it's probably not that simple. How wise are we really? And how much do we harm nature as a whole, including ourselves, through our so-called wisdom? On April 4th, my thoughts were more personal and heavier. Thoughts about missing people who have distanced themselves temporarily or permanently. Thoughts about injustice in life and how to act and respond correctly in every situation, which is of course impossible, since right and wrong are often highly subjective. Difficult thoughts and emotions are received by the forest and nature, and as I walk, they begin to sort themselves out and come into balance, whether the sun is shining or wet snow is falling. On April 3rd, when I tried to move quietly and blend in without disturbing anything, I still managed to do exactly that. I startled a pair of deer quite badly. Today I walk through the exact same area, even though it hardly looks the same because the weather has changed so dramatically. Today I have my dog with me, but I don't think we'll scare any deer this time. They have most likely sought shelter deeper in the forest. The wetland that was fairly dry yesterday is now wet and unwelcoming to rest in. The birds that surrounded me yesterday have also retreated. Yesterday I enjoyed walking in silence. My mind felt light and harmonious, and I observed my surroundings with a sense of peace in my heart. I felt grateful to have discovered how beautiful it is just a few minutes from my home, and that I had finally bought a pair of well-functioning rubber boots. I thought about how nice it was to walk there alone, and that if I had had company, it would be someone who could also walk in silence. Being silent together is something you can only share with someone you truly know well. That's something my father once said a long time ago, and for a moment it felt like he was there with me again. Yesterday I also thought about how it will get warmer and brighter, and that I'll go down to the wetland with something to sit on and a thermos of coffee, just to be there for a while, to sit and observe what's happening around me, watching animals move across the ground, through the bushes and across the sky. Today that possibility feels a bit postponed, but who knows what the weather will be like tomorrow or even later today. After all, this is Swedish spring. I mentioned before that I've been on sick leave at times due to burnout, and how nature helps me recover. Today I can say that I feel better than I can remember feeling in a very long time. Maybe I'll share more about what's happened in the past, or maybe I'll just let it be. What's been has been. Some of it I've already talked about in previous vlogs, and that can remain there. But right now, I feel myself leaning more toward letting go. A friend asked me what I've done to feel as good as I do. It's been a long process, a very long process. Recently, or maybe not that recently, it's started about 10 years ago with me leaving a relationship with a narcissist. Yes, clinically confirmed. And then I've started applying things I previously only understood mostly in theory, especially around personal development, with mindfulness as a foundation. I walked barefoot for a whole summer and then transitioned to barefoot shoes. I've started to apply my knowledge about nutrition, an often sensitive topic, but I've found an approach that works for me. If I had to name one thing, the most important during tough periods when you don't have the energy for everything, it would be the forest. Walking there or simply existing in it has been number one in helping me heal. And here we are standing in my favorite bay. It's April 3rd, and now it's April 4th. Yes, it snowed just a moment ago, but now we left the stretch of snow behind, and here in the small sea inlet it's raining instead. Back to April 3rd, when I walked quietly through the bay. I found some litter that I brought home because one of my domesticated fellow humans had forgotten themselves. I reminded myself to always bring a bag when I go into the forest, just in case I come across things like that. Then I left the bay, the forest, and the wetland and walked back home, grateful for life, both yesterday and today.